these are a lot more interesting, and as you start to look into these, you start to see that you get to do a lot more stuff. So like, let's go through and see this real quick. Close this off. Save this. And you see this right here. So basically, let's go back through and look through how this loop was set up. So basically, this is the syntax for any for loop. This is the initial counter. So if we're using X, we're gonna basically set the initial count. So where we're gonna start it from. So here you see we started it from 0. We could have easily started it from 4, and it would start from 4. You can change it up any way you want to. But we're starting from basically 0 on this, so we can have it count all the way up. But you can set the number to anything you want to start it to. The next thing right here is going to be the test counter. So this is going to basically tell the counter when to stop, so it's not an infinite loop. The problem that you have if you don't have this right here, that it'll just count on forever, and then that will freeze up your browser, and a whole bunch of issues will happen. And you can set this to anything you want to set this to. You can set this to 100 if you want to, and you can see what comes out on this. And it does it like that. And then next one right here is going to be how do you increment your counter. So this is going to be basically on this right here, we take in whatever the variable of X is here, and then we're increasing it by 1. So you literally can come back through if you want to. You can increase it by 3 if you want to. And you can have that, but you need to add the plus on that. And it'll damn near go on for freaking forever on that part. But yeah. And that's gonna be error right there. But you can increase it to how much you want to increase it by. And it goes up by 1 when you do the plus. So basically right here, so you see right here, you can do different things. Basically as soon as it fails, it stops running. And then you do a for each one too. So basically you can do for each value that's in this array, it spits it out. So let's go ahead and load that up so you can see what that looks like too. And you see that down there. Let's bring this back down to 10. It's kind of lengthy. And you can see that too as well, because you have this variable, and we add more things into this, and you want to add let's add white, and then we got another colon, and we added black. We will get these to spit out too as well, and it basically goes through the whole list of this portion. And basically, this is the array right here, and an array is going to be anything like a list, or if you have like a dictionary where you can put the different things in different arrays. You can have arrays that have lists inside of them, that have multiple lists inside of them. Like this array could have another list inside of that, and it can go on and on more and more. So this is a way to be able to save some data and be able to re-output it out to the screen when necessary, or to use it to make different decisions. So you see this right here, we have that. So let's go on to the next one. The next one is going to be something, just if statements. And this basically going to be something you say, if is this, you do this. So if and else state. Okay. And then from here, it's going to head over to there. And then basically, as you read through this right here, if statement executes some code if one condition is true. If else statement executes some code if a condition is true, and another code if the condition is false. So this can be basically if you do something like if x is 6, do this. If x is anything else, do this. Or you can do it if else, and you can do if 6, do this. If 4, do this, and so on and so on and so on. And then anything that's not those things, you can do this. And basically, as you see, as we have it set up right here, you can run through this really quick. Basically, what condition it is. And your actual condition now is by basically doing using greater than signs, or greater than equal signs, or less than equal signs, or less than signs, or equal signs. And if you want it to equal, you have to use a double equal, because the regular equal sign is used to set a variable, as we have seen before when we did it earlier, right here. And if you want to check if something's equal to it, then you'll do this. So let's go back here and look at this. So that one is right here. And you see x hasn't been set. Now if we were to set x on here, if we were to set x on here and go back, and then we can check and see if it's equal to it. And it is. And you can do this with different things like that as well. So let's go back down here and let's test out one of these if statements. And basically this one's going through and set t to the date, which is the hour. And basically if t is less than 20, then echo is have a good day. And then else t is have a good night. So let's test out and see what it says. And this will work differently depending on what time it is there. So this is a good day, because here right now it's 12 p.m. If you were to do, it'd be good night if you did that, because that would be 11 a.m. So you can switch up to anything you want to switch up on that part. And that's a quick way to use if else statements. So basically this is basically saying if t is 20, which is the hours, we're getting this date function right here, which is grabbing the hours, and use uppercase h to do the hours. And this right here is showing you that if t, because basically the hours are going to come back, and same thing as like an army time right there, where it's going to be 24 digits. So it's going to be 24 actual possible answers from 1 to 24 based on the time. So army time on that portion. And then you go through here and you check and see if it is equal to or greater than 20, and then from there you can be able to decide on if you do good day and good night. And this is a simple program that just spits out, spits out how to say hello, basically how to say have a good day or have a good night. Something you can do on any site you do. Very simple. So let's go through this. Let's pull out and do another one. This one looks a lot more complicated. I'll walk you through this one too as well. This is using pretty much the same exact thing. And basically it has our regular adding whatever hour it is where you are as the t for time, going through and checking 10. So if it's before 10 a.m. it's have a good morning. If it's before if it's before 20, have a have a good day. And then also too, if it's before, if it's anything else, have a good night. And one thing you really need to watch out when you do this right here, if you have if statement that so if you were to put this one before this one, 20 before 10, then it will just always go from the 20. So make sure that your first if statement, that there's nothing that you have no other if statements that's in front of it. So basically if you're doing it based on numbers, make sure that so that lowest number is the first one, and then the second one is the next highest number, and then if you have any more, have it in that order right there in a rising ascending order. So let's see and check and see how this works. And you see it says have a good day because right now we are after 10 a.m. but we still are not before 8 p.m. It's not 8 p.m. yet, so that comes out. So let's go through the last one. The last section we're going to go through real quick is going to be using and creating arrays. As I said too as well, W3 School is free. It's a good way to go through and kind of check some stuff we're going through and get some extra work on some things. But this is really cool, something you should look into doing. And basically, if you're going to be working at all, this is a good way to learn new things and to be able to really take your stuff to the next level. So this is something you use with any of your other with the courses that you do. So on this right here, similar to how we set the variables right here, we're doing car, and then we're adding an array to it. So basically, what kind of cars are there? So we have Volvos, BMWs, Toyotas, and this is our list right here. And then we're echoing out I like, and then car, and then you basically have, you put this right here for 0. Basically, all ordinate starts at 0 because that's the first one. Then the second one is 1 and 2, and on and on. Make sure you, if you're trying to get the first one, that you want to put 0. Second one will be 2, so everything's kind of behind. Start instead of counting from 1 and up, count from 0 and on. As we go through, we'll see it spits out all the orders of each one. If you were to add different orders into it, if you were to change this one right here to Ford, it will grab that from that one. Because basically it's taking whatever location this is, because this location is 0, this location is 1, this location is 2, and so on and so on. It'll be exactly like that. It's kind of tricky when you first start out, but once you get to quickly understanding that everything counts from 0 on up, it makes it a lot more easier. And this is how you put together an array. We can go back through here to put another one together. Let's do food. Make sure you add a $sign right there. We can do array. C:, exclamation, exclamation point. Do our basically our quotations, and we can do pizza. Put a comment to add more. We can do food. Put in food. Do hot dogs. And water. And we literally can take this exact same thing. Switch out the cars for food. Oop. Parsing error. And you see, basically, I like pizza, hot dogs, and water. And we have the same thing. You can make arrays really simple. And basically, you want to store these arrays inside a variable so you can be able to use these later on. And basically, that's basically the basics of PHP for just going through. And as we go through and build these projects, this is kind of where we're going to start and go over and use a lot of these things and basically combine them, add different things on there too as well. The one thing you can look into is functions, something we're going to come up and work on next, which is going to be a combination of these right here that you can call out and work on these. So let's go through and do a test of these. Okay, and so basically functions is a block of statements that can be used repeatedly in a program. So if you know that you're going to need to do one calculation over and over again, like if you're going to be echoing out one message, instead of writing echo 1,000 times, what you would do is go through and just call the function. So let's use this function right here. We'll test it out. And you basically can write the same functions many times you want to, especially when you get into different actions that are multiple lengths, multiple lines, lengths of statements that you have to do. Functions work very well, and they're very easy to call, so you have to rewrite things over and over. It makes it a lot quicker to develop. Let's go over here. And you see you can be able to export those right to as well. If you wanted to, you could add another line. You can add different things from your function too as well. You really can go through if you wanted to and add all of this. Makes no sense too, but you can add that every time you call your function. Makes it very interesting, and you can do tons of things like that. You can recall it over and over, and basically anything that you're doing multiple times or even a couple times it's very lengthy. Instead of writing it out every single time that you use it, you just go back through and you write it out just once, and you just go through and be able to reuse it over and over. And as I said before, guys, this is the building blocks of PHP. I know it seems so simple right now, but the part that you're really going to notice later on is that everything builds on top of this right here. Everything uses these basic components and just build on top of each other, use it multiple times, and be able to figure out exactly what you want to be able to create. And you can create any type of functions with this right here, and you can create almost any program using these simple functions and just building upon them. So make sure you guys head over to the next section, and we'll be walking through more MySQL stuff. But right now, make sure you guys go back and review this. Check out W3 School to see more stuff and learn a little bit more on do some of these examples. And make sure you guys have followed through and have this right here. I'm gonna post this into the actual the course, so you can go ahead and look over and kind of be able to work through some of these same problems that we went through. I'll see you guys in the next one.